Hello and welcome back to the second installment video, part 2, on how to deep sand bed maintenance, where as promised we're going to discuss the progression of the deep sand bed. I'm going to show you what's been going on, today being day number 3 to be exact. So 3 days ago we disturbed the deep sand bed, and there are some hydrogen sulfide spots present in the deep sand bed, and we're going to take a closer look at that. Now towards the end of the video, as promised as well, we're going to talk about the list of animals that you should completely avoid, and as a bonus I'm also going to touch up quickly on some of the cleanup crew critters and janitors that are going to be absolutely beneficial to your deep sand bed. We're looking at the bottom left hand side of the deep sand bed, and you can immediately see the difference here. There's a lot more worm activity, and that worm activity and that life is actually what is going to prevent the hydrogen sulfide from forming. But there is a black spot here, right here, that is actually something died in that area and is already forming that black spot. Now keep one thing in mind here. The hydrogen sulfide that I'm going to be able to show you here is nowhere near the capacity of a deep sand bed that is suffering from hydrogen sulfide and has no life in it. I mean, it's going to be jet black and it's going to be horrible to look at. But here you can see the worm activity is already moving, and slowly but surely it's processing whatever is in that deep sand bed and is going to release the hydrogen sulfide into the water column, where it's going to dissipate in the surface or picked up by the carbon, whether you're using Chemipure Elite or regular activated carbon. But it's important to tell the difference between the algae, which is growing all around it here. This is actually algae here, cyanobacteria, and then you've got that black area. Here you've got cyanobacteria growing, and you're gonna see a pattern here, all around here. All in this area outside of that pattern, you're gonna see regular sand, and you're going to see cyanobacteria. But here, all around here, there's a death that occurred here, and you can clearly see it there, that it's starting to turn black. When you're starting to see this happen within your deep sand bed, that's when you need to start worrying, especially if you don't have the life necessary that's going to be taking care of this eventually in the long run. Now let's go ahead and take a look at another spot. You can see the difference there. You can see that it's much darker here, and it's only day 3. Let me just go ahead and point at it quickly. It's right there, this whole area here. Now, if we move further down this way, you're gonna see another small spot right here. And if we continue down this way, more hydrogen sulfide right there. I don't know if it's possible that these worms here have died, and so they're releasing that decomposing matter, and it's trapped within the deep sand bed, and it's going to take some time for the critters to turn the deep sand bed to the point that it'll release it into the water column. And you're gonna see more hydrogen sulfide spots right here, and that's about it. Okay, so we're quickly back here on day number 5, and I've done some changes to the system. I've gone ahead and replaced the carbon media, the Chemipure Elite, as well as the Roaphos, and within 24 hours I see a lot less algae growing in here. Now there was a small spot somewhere here, right in the center there, and it's no longer there, and that's due to the activity. A lot of these areas down below are just shadows, and we're just gonna take a quick browse around here. Now here you can still see some hydrogen sulfide present. It's basically a dead spot that you're looking at, but it is a lot less than what it was 5 days ago. So we're gonna continue here quickly on day number 5. Just to let you guys see this here, there was another spot here of hydrogen sulfide, which is diminishing, rapidly. 5 days is rather fast here, considering the activity that's in this deep sand bed. lot more nitrogen gas produced by the bacteria beneath, consuming the nitrates and releasing it as a form of nitrogen gas. And you can see there's no more hydrogen sulfide here at all. There might be just a tad here at the end. Actually, there was supposedly some hydrogen sulfide here, and it's already disappearing. Okay, so now we're back on day number 10, and I've decided to take this part of the filming process where the lights are off so you can see it more clearly, the hydrogen sulfide, but I'm ecstatic and excited as can be over the fact that there is literally almost no hydrogen sulfide aside from this area located here. Now, there's a big black dark area where I'm pointing at, and down below you're gonna see a lot more of it, but throughout the entire sand bed. And we're going to pick up the camera and we're gonna just quickly browse by so you can see that the hydrogen sulfide is completely gone due to the life. Now, one thing I will tell you here, you're gonna notice a lot more of this hydrogen gas. Now, it's actually quite normal to see a lot more of it, considering that we disturbed the deep sand bed, we trapped some waste, there was some dead decomposing matter within it, hence creating more nitrates, hence the bacteria is consuming that nitrates and, you know, releasing it back as a form of nitrogen gas. And so we're gonna continue on here, and there's no more spots evident in this deep sand bed. We are now on day number 17. So it's been 7 days since the last segment that I showed you guys where the lights were off in the tank, and it's been more than 2 weeks since the initial disturbance of the deep sand bed, and I'm happy to report that there are no more hydrogen sulfide spots within the deep sand bed. Now let's take a closer look here. And we're zooming in here, and you can clearly see. Now you're gonna see some shadowy areas. The shadow is, of course, you know, produced by whatever critter might be on the top area of it. There's still lots of life and activity here. Thanks to that life, there's no more hydrogen sulfide. Now there's also a lot less nitrogen gas within the deep sand bed, and that is simply due to the fact that, you know, there's a lot less nitrates in the system. I've gone ahead and replaced the Chemipure Elite. I've taken back control of the tank and, you know, cut back on the feedings. And so this has resulted in a lot less, you know, in the deep sand bed having to work a lot less. Okay, so now that we've covered that section of the video, now we're gonna move to the most important part here, which is the non-beneficial and the beneficial critters that you should add to your deep sand bed. We're gonna start with the beneficial ones here. Number one at the top of the list always is good quality live rock. I mean, if you're going to go with the natural deep sand bed approach as a filtration system, you have to do it correctly. So therefore, get your hands on some good quality live rock, guys. You're missing out on so much if you don't have that good quality live rock. Number two is bristle worms and other beneficial worms. And I say beneficial because there are some worms that you should not introduce into your tank, such as the fireworm. But when it comes to the beneficial bristle worms, spaghetti worms, the peanut worms, they're all gonna be absolutely beneficial to your deep sand bed. Number three is hermit crabs. And I tend to lean towards the red-legged hermit crabs. The ones with the different colors, they tend to be more opportunistic eaters than the red ones. They pick on the corals and whatnot. Stick with the red-legged ones, guys. They do such a great job at consuming what the deep sand bed does not process. So if you don't have them, look into adding a few of those. Number four is seraph snails. And not only do they consume microalgae, diatoms and the such, they're also going to be working tirelessly to bury themselves within the deep sand bed and keep it moving. Very, very important. Number five is Nassaris snails. These guys, you know, these guys not only are they going to bury themselves within the deep sand bed, but they're also going to consume anything that's dying. Or as soon as one of my snails dies, an example, and the smell is evident, you're going to see that snail surrounded with Nasserid snails. Very important, guys. Make sure that you add those as well. Now, number 6, and the final one we're going to cover here, is the serpent and brittle sea stars. Now, I know that there's the tiny white ones that you can have, and those are beneficial, but the ones that I'm talking about here are the large ones. You definitely want to have at least, in this 90-gallon system, I've got 2 large brittle starfish and 1 serpent starfish. These guys are going to settle underneath the rock where the waste and detritus settles the most, and they're going to keep that area clean, and that is exactly what you want to make sure that you have. You want to try to battle everything else within the system, the detritus and everything else, and let the microfauna within that deep sand bed consume their waste and recycle it into the system. And so now that we've covered the beneficial ones, now we're going to get into the non-beneficial ones. And it's sad to say this because I know a lot of you probably have these critters. We're going to start with number 1, sand sifting starfish. You should definitely stay away from these. These are going to be sifting the sand for the life that you're working so tirelessly to populate within the deep sand bed. They're not going to be consuming detritus. They're not going to be consuming waste. They're going to be consuming the life. So stay away from those. Number 2, sand sifting gobies are going to do the same thing as the sand sifting sea stars. They're not consuming waste and detritus, guys. They're not consuming, not even the algae that grows on the sand bed. They're sifting the sand bed for that beneficial life. You want to stay away from those as well. Now there's also number 3, dragonets. You want to stay away from those. They're going to be picking on the copepods and amphipods in your system. You want to populate these. You don't want to diminish the population of these. Now, there's also the Mandarin fish, which is also going to do the same thing as the dragonet. Now, number 5 here, number 5, 6, and 7, we're going to add them into one. And that is that you should completely stay away from arrow crabs, spider crabs, and the most important here, coral banded shrimp. These are known to prey on worms in your system. At one point, I had a coral banded shrimp on my old 45-gallon nano system, one of my first tanks, and within a year, it completely obliterated the population of bristleworms within my tank. It wasn't until I did some research and found out that these crabs will prey on the worms within the deep sand bed that I actually took it out, you know, and started repopulating the system with bristleworms. So you absolutely want to make sure to stay away from that list, guys. This is so important. So now that we've covered the good, the bad, and the ugly, I hope that you guys have really learned something. And I want to take this special moment to thank so many of you for the support that I saw in the first part of the video. I mean, I received 500 plus thumbs up, guys. Continue to rate my videos. Give it a thumbs up if you find it informational. I got an update coming up with this tank here, which has a lot of new corals, and I want to talk about the positioning of the corals as well as some of the future plans that I have. And I also want to release a video on how to properly set up a refugium down below. So you guys definitely want to stick around. Give my videos a thumbs up once again, guys. Can't thank you enough. Hope you guys have learned something here. And with that said, this is Newyorksteelo signing out. Many more videos to come, guys. Peace.